Let me give you kind of an interesting scenario on travel, because I get this asked a lot. When you take a business trip, there's specific rules on what you can deduct, and there's two kinds of expenses. There's transportation expenses to and from, and then there's expenses while you're there. And I'm going to discuss both of those separately because it's two different rules that apply. This transportation rule is very simple. If more than half the days you were on your trip were business days, then you get 100% of the transportation. If less than half, then you get none. It's an all or nothing proposition. So if you want to get your airfare or however you get there, you got to have more than half of the days as a business day. I'm going to define a business day for you in just a minute. All right, now the expenses while you're there. Whatever days are business days, you get to write off all your expenses that day. Well, other than maybe going to SeaWorld, okay? But you know, your hotel, your meals, your incidentals, all of those expenses are 100% deductible for a business day. Not a business day, none of it is. Those are the daily expenses. Now, what's a business day? First of all, a business day is any day that you spend more than 4 hours working the business. Again, this is where documentation's key. Keep the diary. You know, I had a business meeting, I did this, whatever. I went to a convention, I went to a training, 4 or more hours. Okay. And then another rule is on weekends and holidays, if the days surrounding the weekend or the holiday are business days, then what's in between they just give you as a business day, okay? And then if more than half of the days are business days, then the travel days become business days too. So here's a neat example. Let's say you travel on a Thursday, and you spend more than 4 hours working your business on Friday. That's a business day. Monday comes, you spend more than 4 hours working your business that day. Well, so far you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You've got 5 business days. All right, so you can actually extend your trip for 4 more days, 9 days. You got 5 out of 9 is more than half. So your travel days are business days. So you really have a 9-day trip, and you only work 4 hours on Friday and Monday. Now, how cool is that? Okay. So now that's the kind of information that you'll get in this. All right. So, any questions about that?
Joe, is there a cap on expenditure for meal time?
No, not really. You get to write off 50% of them. The only cap might be is if it's considered ordinary and necessary, you know. But no, I mean.
Do you have to pay someone, or can you write your own bill?
No, you can go Dutch. There's no requirement if you show somebody, if you meet somebody at Starbucks and you want to show them the business and you go Dutch, there's no requirement for you to pay for their meal for yours to be tax deductible. You can go Dutch. But you have to document who you met with and what the business purpose was. That's the important thing. Other questions about that? Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Alcohol.
Alcohol?
We like it.
Same rule applies. It's a 50% meal or entertainment deduction. So, all right. And behind the discussion of the 9 tests for the profit motive is some general information on what types of expenses are common for this type of business. The question that I get a lot is what type of business entity should I have? And Troy's a lawyer, so maybe I should defer to him, but let me just give you kind of my assessment here. You know, this business doesn't have a high degree of legal liability, in my opinion. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Okay. All right. The simplest form of doing business is a sole proprietorship. Most people, that's the best thing for you to do. You don't have to make this overly complicated. Now, if you get to where you're really rolling, making a lot of money, There are some more sophisticated structures that I could recommend for you to help further minimize your taxes. But just starting out, sole proprietor is generally the best way to go, because after all, you want to take all these write-offs. You set up a corporation or an LLC. Corporation or the LLC most likely doesn't own your house. You want to take the home office deduction. It most likely doesn't own your car. You want to take the mileage deduction. So starting out, I generally think that sole proprietorship's best. But certainly I can, talk with you one-on-one about that if you have questions. Get a lot of questions about the home office deduction. One thing to remember is that on the home office deduction, it's only deductible to the extent that you have a profit after all other expenses during the year. Okay, now, if you don't have enough 1 year, it does roll forward indefinitely. So when you start making a profit for tax purposes, you can take all the years that you missed at once and then take it all those future years. The area in your house does have to be used exclusively for the conduct of business, and they're pretty strict on this. There are some exceptions. If you've got a dining room and the only time you use it is at Christmas and Thanksgiving, but the rest of the year it's your home office, you're okay, all right? But you can't use your family room and call it your office if that's the room that y'all watch your TV. Now, it doesn't have to be an entire room. It can be a part of a room, okay? So if you have a desk in the corner, you can take the area of that room, if you use that exclusively for business, and claim that as your home office. Yes, ma'am.
My husband and I are ministers, and we have our pastoral office in our home.
Okay.
And I'm going to a lot on one of our 4 bedrooms for my home office.
Okay.
And how do you work that? I mean, one's different identities.
Different.
I know there's different identities.
Okay.
A nonprofit with the ministry, but this is for profit.
Okay. Probably the best thing for you to do, and I don't know if this is possible with your nonprofit, but have them, the nonprofit, pay you a lease payment every month on use of your home office. And that'll free up the ability to write off expenses, against that lease income. You may be able to claim it as some charitable purpose, perhaps. I need to know more about what you're doing.
It's in our home.
Yeah.
My husband's a lawyer, but he's an English lawyer. But he's
Okay.
over here, so.
Okay. And one thing, too, you want to be careful of is that if you have multiple business activities that you're conducting out of the same office space. I've seen situations before where if they deemed one of them not to be a quote business, then that violated the exclusive use rule for all of them. So it probably is a good idea to separate them. Is that what you're doing, is you're separating them?
It'll be separate rooms, yeah. There'll be separate
Oh.
rooms within the same house.
Okay.
But we use, our home is actually, we have our church in our home. Our house is a multi-living house, it's a large house.
Oh, okay. If you have the church in your home, yeah,
We'll be
then,
conducting meetings as
yeah.
well for the business.
is he an employee of the church?
So we're the directors.
Okay. Time over.
Hey
Okay.
Joe, what they might want to do with like cases like
Yeah,
that.
I can talk with you at lunch or something.
He'll be here all day through lunch
Right.
and breaks. Those real specific cases, like they get real in depth, we might have to wait to
Okay.
meet one-on-one.
Last thing I'm going to say, guys, is I did give you some just charts and things in the back here that'll help you document some of these expenses for your use. And then the last page is kind of a list of what the most common deductions are. And you could, if you wanted to use that and present that to your tax preparer at the end of the year, that should meet all the IRS tests. So anyway, all right, thank you very much.
Now, I want y'all to pay real close attention. Up or down?
Down.
Okay, what you just heard is true. You can take it to the bank.
if you are knowledgeable enough, and if your CPA is knowledgeable enough to take it to the bank. If he or she is not, you're in trouble, kids. Now, what Ron Mueller and Joe found out was this.
Hey, Dr. Ross, I gotta
Oh,
throw
okay.
in one more thing, one very important thing that
Here
I
he
found
comes,
to
one
mention.
very important thing.
All right. Sometimes you'll talk to somebody that says, I don't have the $200 to get started.
Very
okay?
important.
Okay? Or I don't have the $40 a month. Well, we can show them that if they can see that their taxes are going to go down, we know that, all right? We all understand and know our taxes are going to go down, and there's no point in having as much taxes taken out of their paycheck every week, okay? We can show them how to change their withholding at work so that what they're paying through withholdings will match what their taxes will be at the end of the year. Then they get that savings in every pay period, and that gives them the money to sign up and to stay in.
That's right. And did y'all hear that? So when somebody says, I don't have the money, my question is, do you have a job? Yeah, do you get a paycheck? I get a paycheck. You got the money. You're just giving it to the government. So once the minute you have a network marketing company sign up, now then, let the government, you use it to have this business. Y'all understand what we're saying? We wrote the book, investigative journalist, blah, 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 went to the bookstore, studied all this stuff. Now, reporter, I was wondering the big tax breaks I heard about were real, blah, blah, blah. Wrote all through this thing. But then I was on a personal mission to uncover the truth. I started by interviewing CPAs. One of the first things I discovered absolutely shocked me. Bold print. It's a fact. An understanding of home-based business tax law is not taught in most accounting schools, isn't even tested for on the CPA exam. Even CPA continuing education in most states does not contain sections or offer courses on home-based business tax law, like millions of Americans. I used to turn to CPAs for tax advice each year, assuming they knew all the legal tax deductions. I was naive. I had no idea that the tax code is 18,500 pages long. No one is an expert on that. So simply by finding a person with the initials CPA after his or her name, no indication whether they know anything about this or not. If I needed surgery, I would find somebody who knew exactly what they were going to do. You wouldn't have me operate on your brain, I hope. Okay. So, that's the wrong end. And some people think that's the, no, okay, I won't go there. So my point on that is this. If you have someone that you think is preparing your taxes and helping you with this, and honey, they don't have this expertise, you're losing. All right, so one reason we have Joe, and I'm not selling Joe, but then I'm selling Joe. Joe Craft is the best thing that's happened to me for years. A bunch of his cards over here. Joe Craft's business is his expertise. If you guys are using H&R Block, or your best friend who says, when you said, I just got in a network marketing business, and he or she said, oh, now you be careful. Yep. Well, honey, that means, oh, I have no way to help you, but I'm your best friend, I'm your brother-in-law, and I'm sure you'll let me keep being your CPA, although I'm going to lose you a fortune. Because I don't have the knowledge. I'm ignorant. Remember that? Yeah. I'm not stupid. I got to be a CPA, but I'm ignorant. I cannot help you. Yeah. But please don't leave me because I need to make a living. Well, let me tell you something. I need to keep my money and spend it on my kids, so I'm going to Joe Craft. A couple $100 a year? Are you kidding me? That's the best money I spend for that man to do my taxes. And he'll do all of yours until he's up to here and he can't do any more. And then maybe we can hire somebody who knows what he knows and can help more. So I'm just here to tell you, yes, he will talk to you specifically. Yes, he can help. I've seen him change the lives of so many people. It's unbelievable. But he's got, if he's going to do all that, yeah, he can tell you some stuff today and it ain't cost you nothing. That's fine. But if you're going to really get his expertise, I believe I'd have him in my hip pocket if I were y'all. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm sticking to it. I'm out of here.
Hey, all right.